Thank you everyone for joining us. Dave Roberts now available. First questions from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead, Alana.
Dave, can you give us a little bit more insight on what's going on with Joe Kelly?
So Joe just has some shoulder discomfort and, throwing, it's fine, not great. And it's been bothering him here for a few days. I know he had an MRI. I can't give you the diagnosis right now. So what I got is shoulder inflammation. Give him some time on the IL to let it calm down a little bit, and hopefully he's ready once that 10 days is up.
Okay. When you have guys like Adam Kolarek, who you recalled at the secondary site, how are they, keeping in shape, staying in shape? I mean, how much are you getting reports on how they're doing? I mean, I know he hasn't been down there long.
We get reports every day, and they're playing games, doing simulated situations. So hitters are facing pitchers are facing hitters. They're going through game situations, pitchers throwing pens. And for Adam, obviously, again, like most people, like all of us, it was a quick ramp up.
Right.
And last year we used him quite a bit and with consistency against the left-handed hitter. So his release point, arm slot remained consistent. This year it's been a lot different. And so when he went back to the secondary site, kept that delivery down below consistent, feels he's in a good place, and he's obviously rested. So we'll try to get him in there soon.
Do you have an update, Dave, on Alex Wood with the shoulder inflammation?
Yeah, Alex is going to throw a pen today here shortly, and it's going to be an up and down similar to what Clayton did a couple weeks ago, and it'll be right around 30 pitches. 15 pitches, as I understand it, then sit, then get up again for 15. So we'll see how that goes. And once that goes well, hopefully we can progress to Thursday.
Okay. And then Corey, not in the lineup again. Any news on him?
Just continuing to progress. And so we're just giving him treatment. He's moving around better. Yesterday I saw him, was in pretty good spirits, moving around. I'm not sure when he's going to get back on the field and start kind of running around, taking some ground balls, let alone taking swings. So, once that day comes, we'll have more clarity.
And finally for me, Skip, back-to-back catching days for Will Smith. This is the first time this year a catcher's gone back-to-back. What did you like about him in your lineup today?
I just think that he's got his legs under him. Both catchers do now. And so now you can kind of start to ramp it up a little bit more as far as workload with Will, and Austin will be in there tomorrow. But as it stands, I see Will catching 3 or 4 this series, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, just wondering, what's the status of Kelly's appeal?
I think today was the appeal, the hearing. So I would assume that in the next couple days we should have a result. So we'll keep you posted.
Okay, and just with Corey, at what point? Again, I think I asked you this last week about bets. At what point do you have to start thinking about maybe just placing him on the injured list?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, as I understand it, it's a 3-day. You potentially could backdate. But as far as the active roster, fortunately, with the versatility we do have, it's not as imperative. So we're trying to, net out not having Corey for 4 or 5 days, but potentially having them for 4 or 5 days. That possibility versus, not having them for 10 days. So we're kind of trying to weigh it. And right now we're certainly managing, and we feel okay about it.
And then with Joe's injury, the shoulder, a lot of guys, pitchers across baseball, the numbers are up when it comes to that kind of injury, or at least going on the IL for it. It happened to Alex, obviously. Just your sense, do you think this is a coincidence, or do you think, the quick ramp up and the shutdown has a lot to do with it?
I don't think it's coincidence. I think that the short ramp up is a part of it as far as league wide injuries or ILs. Fortunately, I think that Alex's situation, Joe's situation, very benign, short term. And I think we do a very good job of managing workload. And I think over the last, few years, as far as that injuries, especially in the first month of the season where most of the pitcher injuries do happen, we've done a good job. But yeah, in baseball, I think it's a high number as far as, the injuries in the first couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Dave. With Alex, you mentioned if it goes well today, he'll do another session on Thursday. Does that mean you now have a timetable for when he might be coming back?
No timetable. I think it's just more of Thursday would be the next progression, and that would be a simulated game facing some hitters. I don't know if it would be, here against some of our guys or going to the secondary site. But this is the first part of the progression, doing the up and down bullpen. And then the next thing would be that simulating. And I don't know right now how many innings that simulated game would be. But, once we get through this today, hopefully, Thursday will be more clear for us.
And I imagine making it easier is you must be pretty comfortable with the 5 starters you've got right now. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They've all had good outings, throwing the baseball well, giving us some length, building all those guys up. So certainly it's nice, having Alex on the way back to not feel we have to rush him back, which potentially could do more harm than good for him.
You were part of the Padres staff in 2015 when they went through I guess a teardown, you could call it. What was that experience like? And are you at all surprised how they appear to have rebounded to contender status now?
Not surprised. I thought, obviously you get Tatis as an A-ball player, a young A-ball player in the Shields trade. You go out into free agency and sign a couple key bats in Hosmer and Machado. And, they've got some young pitching that's come. You sign Garrett Richards on a 2-year deal and, have him for 1 year essentially after recovering from, I think it was Tommy John. So they've done it the right way. So not surprised, a lot of talent, homegrown, some trades, some free agents, but it's a fun team to compete against.
When did you see Tatis for the first time, and when did you realize he was going to be a special player?
I saw him a little bit, some video in the minors, I think when he was in AA. And, you the bloodlines and you see the skill set, the energy, the acumen, baseball acumen, the swagger, the confidence, all that stuff. Pretty easy to see.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Dave Assay. Go ahead, Dave.
Dave, people are still talking about that pitch that Dustin made to Machado the last time they faced each other. How many times have you looked at that, and is that one of the best pitches you've ever seen?
Best is relative, but as far as 97, 98, started as a strike, ended up at Machado's back foot. Pretty impressive what Dustin can make a baseball do. It's going to be fun, and it's exciting to watch Dustin mature as a big league ball player. And I expect many more throws like that, in his future.
Dave, what's the challenge not only for Dustin, but for your entire pitching staff? I know on a normal season you play inside the division 19 times, but to have this quick turnaround, to see the same teams within less than 7 days, what's the challenge as far as the cat and mouse game?
That's exactly what it is. It's cat and mouse. And I think that obviously your hand. They know what pitch mixes you have. Now it's how you sequence it. And there's certain things that you understand ultimately how you want to get a hitter out, but how you get there is the fun part. And so, we know that Machado, Tatis, these are aggressive hitters, Hosmer, how you still get ahead. So it is an advantage if on the margins, probably to the hitter, to see a pitcher shortly again. But I still think that with Dustin, with his mix, with Ross, with his mix, you got to kind of sequence a little bit different to hopefully get the same result.
Thank you.
Yep.
Got a question from Eric. Steven, go ahead, Eric.
Dave, when we talk about the 3-batter minimum, a lot of the talk is, lefties facing lefties and righties. But on the other side, Dylan Floro, he has pretty extreme splits as a right-handed pitcher. What have you seen from him this year against lefties and just overall?
Well, I think overall his stuff is better. His sinker is now, he's sitting 93, a little north of 93. There's some 94s in there. The sinker has the run, the depth that I remember seeing in 18. The slider location has been more consistent. And the changeup, his changeup to left has been really a game changer. So as long as he sequences right, gets ahead, he should have success against both sides.
On the road trip, when you guys designated Terrence Gore for assignment, is he still around in the organization and or at the alternate site?
Yeah. So we designated Terrence, and we obviously got him for a purpose. And we put him through waivers, and he cleared, and so he's at that secondary site right now. So, anything can happen. He's certainly an asset for us. So as we understand, we're going to be at 28 indefinitely. We'll just see how the season plays out, and we might need to go to that again.
Thanks.
Got a question from Jeff Saunders. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Dave, following up on the Tatis question, as hot as he is right now, how do you pitch to him? And is it a comfort knowing that, he's in that leadoff spot, 5 of his home runs are solo shots?
You just got to make quality pitches. He has the ability to slug. If he gets on base, he can steal a base. So, there's no pitching around him, and you've got some obviously some talent behind him as well. And on the road, you're probably going to see him 5 times. So that's not something that, I don't think any pitching staff welcomes, but you just got to keep making pitches.
Great. Thanks, Doc.
Have time for one more. Go ahead.
Dave, we've talked about the Marlins situation, but it seems like this Cardinals situation is getting a little crazier about the day. They're not playing, I think, at least till Friday. And, Manfred, I think, has said that they're not going to play 60 games. Just what's your thought on a team not reaching 60 games, or multiple teams not reaching 60 games in this already kind of strange season?
Well, it's a strange season. I still stand by the fact that since we are playing baseball, it's a win, and that's obviously not including the Cardinals right now. It's unrealistic. It's not going to happen, like the commissioner said, 60 games. But I just think that we just got to kind of come to terms that whatever messaging, whatever baseball decides on what warrants postseason play or, being a part of it, qualifying for postseason, if it's winning percentage, whatever it is what it is. And I just don't think that we can read too much into it because, again, we're playing baseball. Fans are excited about it. Players are excited. Ultimately, there's going to be 16 teams playing in the postseason. So the best team, the hottest team should come out and prevail. So I really, Jorge, don't have thoughts on whether it's 45 games or 60 games played by the Cardinals.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.